What's up, everyone? It is time to recap episode 33 of Love Island USA Season 7 and a special Down on the Island presentation of Down Once More pod. I'm your host, Matt, and let's just get into it. I'm going to do what I did the last recap with this one. I'm going to talk about the specific couples, not just chronologically go through the episode. I want to talk about those relationships, how we saw them progress this episode. We're in the end game now. After tonight, there's 2 episodes left. Tomorrow night's episode, everyone votes, and then the finale on Sunday. So, let's start. I want to address Nic and Olandria first. We're going to get into them, and then I'll talk about the challenge, and then we'll go through the other couples. I, on my last episode, said some things about how I feel about Nic and Olandria's relationship, and I wanted to have a conversation with the Nic Olandria hive. People had some words for me, and their opinions did not agree or like my opinion and my take. That is fine. I have some bad news for you, and that's this episode just cemented that opinion further for me. Now, I will add the caveat. I do think, I said the last episode, I think Nic has player vibes and isn't really into her. That's not fair. What I think it more is Nic is someone who dives headfirst, falls quickly, and goes all in. I think he is very attracted to Olandria, and the sexual chemistry intention is there, and he very much wants her and has those feelings towards her. Do I think that it's romance versus lust? Not quite sure about that. Olandria, I get the vibes. She likes Nic as a friend, and she values his friendship and that connection. They have a strong friendship connection, don't get me wrong, and they have fun and challenges. But the thing that really sealed it for me tonight is there were 2 things. When they were talking in the speakeasy, and they were talking about how Nic's personality, very spontaneous, doesn't like to ever plan things. And Olandria's like, I can't do that. I'm someone, I need everything really planned out. That kind of highlighted just their differences of personalities and how they handle things, which you're going to have that in a lot of relationships. So that's not in and of itself a deal breaker. But she's also said from the beginning, the one consistent thing that she has said she is looking for is she wants someone who is like a man's man, who can build a house for her. Those were her exact words. And she's wanting someone with those kind of vibes and that personality and that skill set, that real provider in that sense. Nic is not that. I'm not saying he can't do those things. He's not capable. But that's not the vibe and what we have been seeing from Nic all season. Nic is very much playful and goofy, and he's a lot like Taylor in that way. Taylor and Olandria, if you look back on it, their connection wasn't there. And I've said it, ran it into the ground on here. Taylor's biggest problem was that he did not communicate that clearly and explicitly to Olandria from what we saw. So I don't see it there with Nic and Olandria, guys. And the other thing, the more severe nail in the coffin, in my opinion, is when they are talking in the speakeasy. Nic is great at giving words of affirmation, of telling her all these positive things, complimenting how beautiful she is, how much he cares about her, how much he feels like they have chemistry and passion and the challenges and everything like that. And Olandria's response was, "Aw, Nicky Poo," which gives zero indication that she is romantically interested in this man. Partially because when they first were put together and coupled up, one of their conversations was Nic said, "No, I'm not going to be Nicky Poo anymore. I want to be Nic. I want you to see me as Nic. And that's what I'm going to be now, a more mature side to me." And she has multiple times since then gone with the Nicky Poo thing. And I said it the last episode, it comes across like, "Aw, sweetie," like you would if you're like, "That's so sweet, you have a crush on me." Not like someone who reciprocates those feelings. And it could be her personality. Again, most of us don't. Maybe some of you know him personally. Most of us don't know these people personally. We just watch them on TV and have these strong feelings and opinions about their relationships, which frankly we have no right to do. I'm part of the problem. I am fully aware of this. So maybe she just gets uncomfortable with getting those positive affirmations and people saying nice things about her. I'm not great at receiving compliments. I get it. Maybe it's just her personality. I could be completely off base. I think there is less than a 5% chance that these two will make an attempt at being a couple outside of the villa or would work as a couple outside the villa. I just don't see it. I think they have a very strong friendship connection. And if you say, I want to vote for them because I see how Nic looks at her, and so they're end game to me. That's what it is. Whatever. That's on you. I can't tell you how to vote. That's your own thing. You go with your opinion. I just do not see it, and they will never be it for me. That's it. And that's all I'm going to say about that for now. Let's get into the challenge on this episode. It was Viva Las Villa. So it was Vegas themed. It was a fun, lighthearted challenge, which I like having these mixed in there. Don't get me wrong. I love me a messy challenge. This year, I've just have such a burnout from all the mess and the drama and the offline stuff, like real life stuff, controversies and stuff being dug up, that it's just, the season's been a lot. I appreciated the lighthearted challenge. Huda showing out and going all in like she does in these types of challenges. All the couples having fun. Iris and Pepe getting into it, having a very passionate kiss. Nic and Olandria just being Nic very goofy as always with everything. And I don't know, it was fun. Couples had fun together. No drama came out of it. It was a good time. It was fun to watch. It was entertaining. And then the confessionals, each of the couples were having fun. Amaya and Bryan having a good time and chatting. So I really like this challenge. I don't have much more to say besides it was just fun, wholesome. Ace being goofy as hell. Nic being goofy as hell. Good time. Let's talk about Huda and Chris. They were the other big one after Tuesday's episode, that Chris is in the kind of shutdown more, not communicating, which Jeremiah did as well. And so Huda obviously has been burned a little bit by that method of communication. And I do think Chris is still doing a much better job communicating than Jeremiah did in those situations. But there are different things about tonight. I've said he is very mature. He communicates very well. I kind of wish he would have been one of the OGs starting out the season. I think he could have a very strong connection. I do not think it would have been with Huda, but I would have liked to see more of him in the villa in this season. But their conversation, when Huda's clarifying, she's like, I didn't walk off. I just wanted to end the conversation and not keep going in circles. You did walk off. You got up and left without saying anything. And Chris, he's kind of shut off, and he said he's receptive to what she's saying, but he doesn't have any thoughts. He's tired of having the discussion, the conversation about it, and her walking off was just really disrespectful. And Huda going to if this is not something you want to pursue, then okay, I will leave you alone. And him, I feel like rightfully so, getting kind of frustrated. Like, that is not what I'm saying. And maybe like that's her. She's been burned before. And so she's like, okay, if you're going to abandon me, leave me, I want to cut it off now. Fine. I do not feel like it was the most healthy communication from either of them in this situation. And especially towards the end of the night, I feel like Huda was kind of missing the point about Chris's frustration, because she just kept telling the girls, well, he's just mad because he's upset that I'm not kissing him in front of everyone. And I don't think that was exactly what he was saying. He's like, hey, if you just want to be like affectionate and show these things only when the lights are out, it almost seems like a little bit not ashamed, but ashamed. And I want to see some of that throughout the rest of the time. I don't want it to only be when the lights are off that you want to do all that. I want you to be able to show those things and be there all the time. And so I think that was fair, but we'll see. Just misunderstanding there. And I respected how at the end of the episode, when they're having a conversation, Chris is like, we're just not going to see eye to eye on this. I've told you my feelings, how it bothers me. Let's not just keep talking about this and going in circles about it. Like, I'm kind of over that. And Huda telling him because she had said to Amaya earlier, she's like, I just feel like he doesn't give me words of affirmation. He doesn't validate me, and he needs to be doing more with that. And so Huda, after her and Chris had this conversation, after Amaya and Bryan did a fantastic job just tricking them to meet on the dock and have a conversation with each other. We'll talk about Amaya and Bryan. Let's talk about that part here. Amaya says, hey, Huda's my girl. I would want people to try to mediate for us if we were having these things. So we need to try to do something for him. She tells Bryan, she's like, you go talk to Chris. Say you want to talk to him on the dock, and then tell him you have to go urinate. And then I will get Huda and I'll tell her that I want to talk to her on the dock too. And then I'll say, I have to go urinate. It cracked me up that Amaya was saying urinate. Technically, that is correct. I feel like I haven't heard someone say urinate besides in a clinical setting, but hey, she's a nurse, so it makes sense. But I thought that was funny. That was cute of Amaya and Bryan. Although Chris had said to the guys like earlier, he's like, look, I don't want to bring it up because there's not really anything else to say. I'm not going to talk about it tonight. We'll just move on. And so kind of forcing them into that a little bit. It's not necessarily what Chris wanted. I think at the end, Huda kind of got it when Chris said, hey, no, we're going to have different opinions. I've told you how I feel. We don't need to keep saying it. I've said, yeah, I respect that's how you feel. You feel like you got burned with Jeremiah, everyone having their opinions about you being in public. So you don't feel like you can do that. Okay, that's fine. But I'm going to tell you how I feel too. And we don't need to revisit it and keep going in circles. We're going to have the same argument. Let's just not. And he said, I still like you. Like, if I wanted to leave and if it was too much, I would have told you. I haven't. I still want to be here. So let's just not keep having this conversation. I respected that. And then Huda brings up, she's like, well, I need you to, like, in the morning, start acknowledging more and just do more things. Because she's like, because I like attention, like a lot, and I need a lot for my partner. So can you do more? And he said, yes, he will try to. So that was good for Chris. I feel like it could have gone poorly. He could have been like, okay, you're telling me you need more from me. I'm telling you I need more from you, and you're telling me you can't give me that. But hey, gotta set boundaries. That's what they both did. And as of now, he accepted that. I do not think, I think they will be good for the rest of the season. There's 2 episodes left. Family visits are next week. I don't think there's going to be fireworks or anything crazy with there. They're going to have conversations, be good to go. Unless it's like his sibling or whoever comes in is trying to warn him off. But I feel like for the most part, family visits, especially with them being in person, are going to be pretty chill and just people crying. Let's talk about Pepe and Iris. They're a couple. They don't get a ton of screen time. They seem pretty chill. They like each other. Conversations are progressing. I feel like they do have some feelings there. Do I see them being together long term outside the villa? Probably not. But I also wouldn't be too surprised. They both seem like very genuine people. They're having a good time together. Iris keeps talking about how natural it is to talk to him. She has said one thing. She's like, I wasn't expecting to feel like this in the last week at all. I was worried I was going to be crying and sad, and they're having good time together, and all their interactions are just sweet, and it feels like they care about each other. And so I really like Iris and Pepe as a couple. So not much crazy things happening with them this episode. Amaya and Bryan as well. Nothing too crazy, just some good conversations talking about how Bryan makes her feel special. They really care about each other and like each other. They had fun in the challenge together. And they're a really cute couple as well. I think that they work well together. Nothing much to say. When couples are unproblematic and are having fun together, not much to say about it. And then Ace and Chelley, they had multiple good conversations this episode with each other, just progressing their relationship further. Ace having conversations with Nic about if Well, when Nic was talking about how much he really was liking things about Olandria and it just feels natural and feels right and everything like that, and he gets butterflies, and Nic being like, Ace being like, that's what love's supposed to feel like. Them having that conversation, then Nic talking about to Ace about, hey, you think you're moving closer to wanting to close things off, and him kind of being like, yeah, I think maybe I am. And so we saw that culminate at the end of the night. Islanders get a text. The hideaway is open. They vote for Ace and Chelley to go in. It showed Iris telling Pepe, man, I wanted to go to the hideaway, which is a completely valid response. It would have been shitty if she would have been like, well, actually, I think we deserve to go in there. We've been great together. That would have been fucked up. But it's completely normal to want that time alone with the person you're coupled up with and partnered. And she had the awareness enough to realize Ace and Chelley deserved it more, and so to let that happen. So, good self-awareness on her, but I think it's completely fine to call that out and say, hey, I wish it was us. When they were in the hideaway, the Ace went to the sand when Chelley was changing into her swimsuit, made a heart, put an A+C in there, put an arrow through it, and then had a very nice speech typed up and talking to her about the thought of her with anyone else in there or outside was hard to him, and he wanted to be exclusive. And Chelley said yes. So we now have an exclusive couple going into the last 2 episodes. It's kind of wild to me at this point that not every couple in there has said, hey, let's be exclusive. You're not going to explore with anyone else in there. You may as well just say you're exclusive in there. It doesn't mean you have to be outside. Like, you can do a big show, do something cute. Viewers will eat it up. I'm not sure why more people haven't done it. But Ace and Chelley have really, they had that rough patch. And there's the different controversies about were they a couple before going into this? Was it planned to win? I don't know. I don't necessarily buy into all of that. That's a lot. Maybe it's true. Maybe they've got us all fooled. And the Stand Your Ground challenge, that sounds bad. The Speak Your Mind challenge, whatever it was called. Stand on Business. Yeah, Stand Your Ground, completely different thing. But the Speak Your Mind, Stand on Business challenge, I did not like how Ace handled that or moved in that challenge at all. And same with, I didn't like how Chelley was acting with that stuff about Chris, but they've gone through their trials. They've come out the other end. I do like them together overall. I honestly think they're probably the couple that has the best chance of making things work outside the villa. So we'll see what happens in the next episode. As of right now, that's who I'm leaning towards for my winning vote, would be Ace and Chelley. But I ran through all the couples. Nic and Olandria, Huda and Chris, Amaya and Bryan, Iris and Pepe, Ace and Chelley. A couple just closing thoughts about the episode. 1, let's not make Eat That Kitty in the Hideaway a thing. If I never hear that again for the rest of my life, it will be a blessing and a miracle, and I will love it. Kind of funny the first time, just for shock factor, that I'm like, they're actually doing that. Because usually you're a little discreet. Everyone knows what's going to go down, but you're not explicitly saying all of this to people and on camera. But they were saying it during challenges. Like, they were saying it when Amaya and Bryan were kissing. Olandria started chanting, Eat That Kitty in the Hideaway. And Amaya then called out in the confessional, and Bryan said, we almost did. Like, what are we doing? But that saying, that's done with the Eat That Kitty in the Hideaway chants. But one other thing, Chelley acting like, oh, wow, it's so nice in here. Chelley, you were in the hideaway night 2. You went there with Charlie. When Charlie and Sierra came in as bombshells, Nic and Chelley were the ones that they asked to go spend the night in the hideaway with them. And Chelley slept in that bed with Charlie on night 2. So It's not a new thing, or wasn't night 1? Like, it was the beginning of episode 2 that it happened. So you've seen The Hideaway before. I get it. A lot has happened in 6 weeks, but you've seen all this. It's not that shocking to you. You've seen it. So I don't know. I'm glad that we have an actual exclusive couple going into the final 2 episodes. It's wild we don't have more, and I wouldn't be surprised more people close it off. So tomorrow we have family and your vote for the winner. Sunday will be the finale, and that's when we'll get to see everyone going on their special date together. So that's going to do it for this episode. I'll see y'all back here tomorrow night for some thoughts. I will say who I'm voting for. I'm being open, honest, transparent. Let me know your thoughts. Who do you think is going home tomorrow night? Because there will be one couple going home based on the votes from Tuesday night. They will be going home tomorrow night. So put in the comments who you think is going home on Friday night's episode. And then on tomorrow's episode, you'll comment who you voted for to win. But coming up on the regular pod next week, we'll be going through where you can stream some of the best musicals that are available on streaming site. If you're into musicals, if we got a nice Venn diagram of Love Island fans and musical fans, you can do that. But like I said, for the rest of this week, I will do the recap tomorrow night, revealing my vote, and then I will do a recap Sunday night after the finale. I'm not going to recap Beyond the Villa, but Beyond the Villa looks pretty heavily produced, but looks like it'll be a good time, and we'll get to see some of those personalities again that we fell in love with last season. No part of me wants a Beyond the Villa. I lied. Ace is entertaining. Nic is entertaining. I wouldn't mind seeing, hell, follow Taylor, Nic, and Ace for a Beyond the Villa next season. Those were, I've seen posts that were saying they were this season's PPG, and I don't necessarily disagree. But that's going to do it for this episode. Thank y'all. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff I have to say. But most importantly, don't forget to go down once more. Later.